Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel. So, in today's video, I want to talk about the situation that is happening at the moment around Naples area. So, I have already done a few videos on my channel where I was talking about the Vesuvio Volcano that is dangerous and there is at high risk, that all the area is at very high risk of an eruption. I also done a video, I covered also another video about Campi Flegrei, which is another very dangerous area around Naples area. And so today I want to talk about what the news are saying about this area and what's going on around Naples. Now, because the earth is shaking, so and basically a lot of people are worrying. Now, when we talk about Naples area, it's very important to say that we are talking about nearly 3 million people who are living just under the volcano from one side, and from the other side about this huge caldera called Campi Flegrei. So let's read on the news quickly what's going on, what happened last night and in the previous few nights. Because what is happening is that not only in the recent days, but it's already few months that the earth is constantly shaking and people are normally worrying about the situation. So let's try to understand about a bit what's going on. Now, Campi Flegrei seismic swarm continues, magnitude 3.1 shock during the night. So 3.1 is not a huge earthquake, but anyway, people are worrying, and it seems like a lot of people during the night, while the earth was shaking, they abandoned their houses during the night while they were sleeping because they were worrying so much. Now let's read a bit. The seismic swarm in Campi Flegrei continues. Now in English it's called the Phlegrean fields. Anyway, I'm gonna say in Italian, Campi Flegrei continues with several tremors during the night. The strongest of magnitude 3.1 was recorded at 3:22 a.m. Now, what is bad in this situation, for example, is that if an event like that is happening during the day, you might be straight away in alarm and react straight away. But when these events are happening at night, for example, is more complicated because you might have who is waking up, who doesn't wake up, so who feels it, who doesn't feel it, anyway, and the alarm sounds in the meaning that maybe people are waking up other people and say, get out of the house, get out of the house. So the situation anyway is quite alarming at the moment. Now Fabio Ciciliano, head of the National Civil Protection, is gonna have a meeting today with the citizens to understand what's going on and what to do. Now, the seismic swarm continues in the Campi Flegrei area in the province of Naples. There were several earthquakes during the night, the strongest of magnitude 3.1, according to data from the National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology. The earthquake had an epicenter at a depth of just 2 kilometers, so was only 2 kilometers underground, and an epicenter 5 kilometers from Pozzuoli. Now, Pozzuoli is just this town in the heart of the caldera, so basically for all the population that is living there, the situation is quite serious. Now, 4 tremors in the night. So it seems like during the night the earth and people felt was shaken 4 times. Last night, at least 4 other tremors, so they constantly have these tremors during the night. Now it's particular that is happening always at night and not really during the daytime, of magnitude 2 or greater occurred in the area. 2 days ago there was a tremor of 3.9. There was a 3.9 tremor. The head of the National Civil Protection again will be there to discuss. From my point of view, there's no plan. Now, let me say a few words about my opinion. Now, the situation for me is not at all under control. I believe that the Italian institutions they want to show that they know what's going on. For me, all they know is that just they can control technically what is happening. They can report constantly, okay, the earth shake that moment, but they cannot predict because it's very hard to predict. Now, let's say one thing. For example, let's say that at the moment we have these tremors, that the earth is shaking, and people are concerned about this problem. Okay, this is the situation. But then, because we cannot predict, because earthquakes and volcano explosions technically are unpredictable, what institutions, what the government should do? Now, we are again talking about 3 million people who are living in this area. So, should the government, for example, evacuate this area to prevent a huge disaster? Now, we could say, for example, yes, let's say, oh yes, let's let's make an evacuation plan, let's move these people, but can we technically move 3 million people from one place to another? Where these people are gonna stay? So technically, the situation, according to me, is totally out of control, in the meaning that institutions don't know at all what to do. Now, in the Italian style, the only thing that we can do is to pray and to wish that nothing is going to happen. According to me, for example, nothing major is going to happen. And why nothing major is going to happen? Because these tremors, these events always happen. I mean, it's not something like, oh, it's happening only today. Now, for the majority of the people are not even, for me, concerned or worried about what's going on, because they are used to so much. Now, they live in this caldera. Now, I don't know exactly how many people are living in this area, the caldera, because the caldera, again, of Campi Flegrei is quite big. We are talking about few kilometers. It's like the mouth of the volcano that we don't see, that is under the water. You can only see from a very high altitude. You can see this round shape. While, for example, if we have a look at the Vesuvio volcano, we can see that the volcano is there. We can see the mouth of the volcano. So technically, we have an understanding of the volcano itself, but in the caldera we don't see, because the mouth of the volcano is very huge and is at the sea level. So basically we have people who are living inside into this mouth of the volcano. I hope you understand what the situation is. Now, according to me, I should say, no one should ever live in this area. So, but at the same time, people are living there since always. It's not like generations after generations, 2000 years ago, and then we can mention, for example, the explosion of the Vesuvio volcano that caused For example, the tragedy of Pompeii, that nowadays is one of the most visited places, for example, in the world. I mean, there are millions of tourists that are going every year just to visit this town that is like a museum, an open sky museum where you can see actually even how people died, in which position they were when they were surrounded by the ashes and covered by the ashes. Because the problem of Pompeii were the ashes that came out from the volcano and totally in a few minutes covered totally the surrounding area around the Vesuvius. Anyway, last night, at least 4 other tremors, magnitude 2 occurred and some 3.9. So the situation is kind of unpredictable. Not many people know what to do. According to me, there's no evacuation plan. And again, what can we do? We can just pray and hope that nothing is going to happen. And again, this is something that people are living with. This is very, very important for me to understand that Napolitan people are familiar with this type of events. Now, I understand that there are people who are worrying maybe more than others, but it had been a constant situation. These events were keep repeating and repeating and repeating. Maybe now the difference is that now is a tiny bit more active, and so that's why there are more concerns. But at the same time, we can also say maybe they are monitoring more nowadays than they were monitoring, for example, 10, 20, 30, or 40 years ago. It would be interesting to understand, for example, what people who lived 40, 50 years ago in this area were thinking. Obviously, Napolitan people has a particular attitude. They're kind of, because they know they live constantly with this problem, they have this attitude to live just day by day. This is what makes Napolitan people extremely special. So they usually don't plan. They are not people who are constantly planning, because they're constantly saying, but we don't know tomorrow. How can we plan if we don't know how the situation is going tomorrow? Anyway, so this was an article. I'm trying to see if basically all we have at the moment are a lot of updates and constantly saying, okay, it's shaking here, it's shaking there. Let's see, for example, what another outlet is say. It says, um, let me just see another outlet. Campi Flegrei, there is no respite. Saturday's seismic swarm continues. So basically, kind of, there's no peace at the moment for people in the area. Tension does not seem to want to go down at Campi Flegrei, with the seismic swarm that began on Saturday still apparently ongoing. No more peaks of 3.9 degrees of magnitude, which it seems like it was last Saturday night. They had a peak of 3.9 degrees of magnitude, even if the maximum reached 3.1. The situation remains worrying for the population, still tried by tumultuous days of Sunday and Monday. Today's peak was recorded at 3:22 a.m. With the epicenter about 5 kilometers from Pozzuoli, reported Vesuvius Observatory, and so on. No damage to property or people recorded at the moment. So basically, this is also extremely important, because until there are no damages, so what action can be taken? Should we evacuate the entire area, or should we behave like nothing is happening? I would follow more, for example, the second option. Let's keep living the life. Then, if we are talking about evacuating people, evacuating people, we are talking about big amount of people and where we are going to relocate. So according to me, apart monitoring the situation, there's not much that can be done by institutions. Let's read a bit more. Meanwhile, as announced yesterday by the mayor of Pozzuoli, now Pozzuoli is this town that is in the center of the caldera, an information meeting on the seismic swarm and the measures to be taken is scheduled for this afternoon at the headquarters of the Civil Protection of Pozzuoli, which will be attended by the institution from Naples and Bari, the head of National Civil Protection, the director of Civil Protection, the director of Vesuvius Observatory. I mean, they're all having this meeting, but in the end, what can they technically do? I mean, the options are just two: or we completely evacuate this area, or we just keep monitoring and having lovely chat and say, okay, it happened this, it happened that. I don't see any way a plan that can be actually taken. And then, just to make it short and to close the video, these events always happen. And is there anything for real that can be done to avoid these events to happen? Technically, no. So I don't really see a solution apart monitoring and trying to understand what's going on. Then you can put yourself in the pants of a Napolitan who may say, oh no, I'm worrying a lot, I'm gonna leave now. A lot of people might decide, for example, to leave even before institutions are gonna say, oh, let's do this or let's do that. Then, anyway, just to close the video, I want to say that actually in all the Mediterranean area at the moment, we are noticing a quite active seismic events. For example, now we have witnessed in the last few days the situation in Santorini, in this Greek island, and then also, for example, I just saw yesterday that there was an earthquake in Portugal. So also at the moment, what I've noticed is that I'm constantly receiving updates on my phone about earthquakes. So anyway, this is a big problem. Technically, there's no solution. The only solution can be evacuating people. But evacuating people require a big organization, require a lot of money. These people who are living in this area have a life, have a home, have a job. So what are they gonna do? Are they gonna simply say, okay, and who is gonna pay to these people? For example, if I decide to leave Naples area because I live in the caldera in this area and I worry so much. So I have my house, I have all my belongings, I have my job. Is it that easy to say, okay, now I'm gonna leave? And if I'm gonna leave, where I'm gonna go, where I'm going to stay, who is gonna provide to me financially? So are there any plans from this point of view? So that's where, for example, my concerns are saying, no, stay where you are. I mean, you always been there. There's nothing we can do because nobody is gonna provide for these people. If the Italian government decide to take an action and to relocate these people, so they have to decide where to go, to sponsor these people financially. What about their job? What about all the economy in this area? So then if we go back from the very, very origin, we should say, should people ever lived in this area? Maybe not. Maybe someone should have stopped people, but this long, long time ago. I'd say nowadays, in particular in this area, I'd say for me it's very hard to say, okay, let's move these people. Um, I'm simply saying that the situation is not easy. The situation is not easy at all. I worry a lot anyway for these people. Then we have anyway these constant updates from the institutions which are keep reporting. Maybe there is the earth is shaking. There is magnitude 2.9, so for example, and you don't even notice. If you are there, you don't even notice. But is this alarming system working in favor of people? I mean, it's working if you have a solution, but if you don't have a solution, is this alarming system going to work? For me, it's only, I have to say that there's a lot of fear mongering. I don't know why there is, but again, let's go back to the whole point is that the place itself is dangerous. Now, at the moment, we have seismic movements, the earth is shaken, no huge magnitude. What if there is a big explosion? If there is a big explosion, I'd say it's going to be, unfortunately, a big tragedy. So, my friends, I wanted to express my opinion, I wanted to express my concern about this situation. Hopefully nothing major is going to happen, and obviously because if something big is going to happen, it's gonna be a tragic event, and nobody wants to see anyway anything like this. Okay, so my friends, I gave you this update from the Campi Flegrei situation. Situation is not good, but what can we do? Write a comment under the video if you, and in your opinion, what should be done to save life, or maybe nothing is gonna happen, it's only a lot of worries, and nothing major is going to happen. So share with me your opinion under the comment section. And anyway, I'll see you here on Italy A Place to Love YouTube channel to my next video. Bye for now. Bye.